Okay.
At the time, I felt like a science experiment. It really affected the way I want to go. Like, I don't want to go to the doctor because they would call people in from other rooms, like, come look at this. And, like, I would have to stand there and hold my hair up, and they would look at that and, like, touch it. And it really was not fun. So it's a congenital birth defect. It's called Defies. The shortest explanation could be you have 7 vertebrae in your neck. Your head holds itself up all day long. I have 2 fused and 2 missing. So I have about 2.5 vertebrae in here. I go in there, all of a sudden there's black spots in my vision. I can't see her to tan her.
Oh my gosh.
I've had people that would put fake appointments on my books to block me out because, I have that online scheduling.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm.
Who would do that?
Yeah.
Like, are you that bored with your life that you would straight up put fake appointments on somebody's books?
I've had my signs slashed.
Stop.
But this is why I have this, because I get to be your mother and guide you through this, and you can feel seen and heard and understood. And it all came full circle for me just recently with her.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me cry.
I know.
All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Filter, and today I have one of my favorite people ever on the show with me. This is Tiffany Howell, and she's amazing for so many reasons. I feel like I've known her, or she's probably known like every single little thing about me, like probably like any secret, anytime I've cried or anything like that, because I sit in her lash chair like this every single week. So she owns Bronzz Beauty Studio out here located on the south side of Indianapolis. So they do lash extensions, they do aesthetics, spray tanning, so much more over there. And you have just been such an awesome friend over the last few years. So I'm excited for you to come on here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So what we're going to do is actually I'm going to talk to her a little bit about her story, and we'll get into some things because I feel like I've known you for such a long time, right? And then, like, we have, like, the most random conversations in the chair.
I've had 287 of them, actually.
Oh, yes.
I looked that
She
up
looked
yesterday.
it up. I've had 287 appointments with her. Isn't that crazy? That's slightly insane. So you can imagine the kind of talk we've had, like, sitting there. And not only, like, us, but, like, I always say you guys really need to have your own show in there.
I know. It's such like a beauty shop feel, but with aesthetics.
Yes.
Which normally with aesthetics and facials, it's quiet, all lights low, you're alone with your own thoughts kind of thing. But no, like we have all of our banter, and there's 4 chairs, so there's 4 different conversations with 8 different personalities.
Literally.
It's fun.
I think, because she did my lashes yesterday, and they look amazing. Of course, that's not going to be when it airs, but still, they still look so good. But it's just funny because every time I sit in the chair, like, I always hear just gossip and like, talking, and in my head, I'm always like, what is happening? What is going on in this world right now?
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I wouldn't change it for the world. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. But when I just, going back to what I was saying before, is that we've had so many appointments. And never once did you ever mention, like, your whole story, which I found was just so fascinating. Like, it literally, for me, it kind of just stopped me at the moment, because I was like, how do I know Tiffany for this long and not knew, like, what she was diagnosed with as a child and how you grew up and what the doctors were saying and all of that? That, like, to me, for you, like, being a mom and a business owner and doing all those things and then still having to deal with this on a day-to-day basis for your entire life, I mean, that's huge. You're like, yeah, kind of.
It is.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. Like, when did all of that, like, was this something, your situation, were you born with this? Or
yes.
Tell us about
that. So this is, you can probably tell even now just watching this, like the tilt of my head, for example. Or, like, there's not a lot of length here. So it's a congenital birth defect. It's called Defies. The shortest explanation could be you have 7 vertebrae in your neck. Your head holds itself up all day long. I have 2 fused and 2 missing, so I have about 2.5 vertebrae in here, and all of my muscles are holding it up all day. So, like, when I get tired or if I'm driving, sometimes I droop. Or, adult beverages, I'll droop a lot more because I got relaxed. But it is a physical task every day to hold my head up. Like, I've got pretty much whatever muscle this is called. They feel like bodybuilders. They're
like your traps?
Yeah. But it's been my norm my whole life. So I don't feel any kind of way about, like, I don't feel different. I didn't know I was until mean people pointed out.
Yeah.
Or,
so you were born with this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My parents started to notice something was wrong when I wasn't hitting milestones, like not sitting up. Why isn't my child sitting up? Why is it, babies, they're all chubby and you don't really see their neck and they're kind of.
Yeah.
But nothing was changing for me.
Okay.
And they went through a lot of different doctors and finally settled on a specialist at Riley that did a lot of research and found out it's clipple files. There's lots of people that have it.
Okay.
At the time, I felt like a science experiment. It really affected the way I want to go. Like, I don't want to go to the doctor because they would call people in from other rooms, like, come look at this. And, like, I would have to stand there and hold my hair up, and they would look at that and, like, touch it. And it really was not fun. But with technology and the internet and whatnot, I found now that it's actually more common. There's 1 in 42,000 people that have this.
Really?
I have seen people like me out and about on occasion.
Okay.
And I almost just want to, like, give them, like, the Jeep wave. But
Jeep wave, like, I am just like you.
Yeah. But this could be so much worse.
Are there different, like, levels to
I think that there's different levels for sure, and there's also different ways that this could have been treated as a young person and what resources were available to treat it. Like, for me, they got me in the pool, like, as a 3-year-old, treading water, learning to build those muscles to hold my head up. And then just, constant supervision, not finding dangerous situations. Like, I've never been on a roller coaster in my whole life, ever, because who knows, was that going to be bad?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm released from all those restrictions now, and, like, I could do that, but now I'm just like, I don't think I want to.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
But as far as, like, my daily life, as a young person or as a child, there was a lot of pain involved.
Okay.
So much so that I don't really have memory of it. I just have, stories from my parents talking about it. Those muscles are pretty dull, and those nerve endings are pretty dull. Not muscles, nerves.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel much. I do follow an anti-inflammatory diet.
Okay.
Very, very low sodium. Try to avoid alcohol, which don't we all?
It's a little dangerous.
Because I've noticed with the dietary changes, I can have more pain or less pain.
Mm-hmm.
So if I treat my body like a trash can, doing my job all week hurts. But overall, I think it's been a character building experience. As a young person, I was very upset. Like, why me?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? I would beg my parents, like, isn't there some kind of surgery? Can't you just make me like everybody else? And it kind of segues into how I got into beauty, because I so much wanted to be comfortable in my own skin. And I was like, I can have the best makeup, I can have the best hair, best outfit. And it just kind of, Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain, pay no attention, like, distracted by all of this.
Yeah.
And then one day, my ex-husband and I, we had a business together. It wasn't doing well. And I got a spray tan. And I felt so good after getting that spray tan. And I thought, I could do that. And I just started researching.
Yeah.
Read a lot of blogs and got a certification. One of my friends owns a salon.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her, do you think your clients would like this? And she was like, oh, yeah, Tiff, let's do it. And I went from, like, 1 client to 450 in the first year.
Oh, my gosh.
But I'm kind of a crazy person. Like, I used to go out and, like, mingle and market and business card drop. And, I was hungry. I wanted this to happen. And it was so rewarding because in the 10 minutes that I was with these women, and they come in and they're so hard on themselves. They're like, don't pay attention to this, or I've got this cellulite, don't look at it. And I'm like, girl, I'm not paying attention. I am following my lines. You're good. But then to see when they would look at themselves in the mirror just after a spray tan, they felt 100 times better. Like, they walked out on a cloud. It's like I'm dealing in self-confidence. And so every day to be able to uplift somebody, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And so they're advocates for their skin, obviously, getting spray tans.
Yeah.
So I decided, let's learn aesthetics, because that's all about the health and beauty of the skin.
Right.
And then after that, everything kind of catapulted, because they already trust me naked, essentially. So they decided they would trust me with all these other things.
Well, yeah, because honestly, with the spray tanning, because once you do that and you're naked in front of somebody, then you're like, okay, walls down. What else you got?
Yeah. And what's
For
so
a woman,
cool,
at
like,
least.
with the spray tanning, I've been seeing some of the same women, same day, same time, 13 years.
Wow.
Like, every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like clockwork. And with the lashes, I see them, like, in your case, every week. Yeah. Most clients, every 2, you're just special.
I have problems.
I see them more than they see some of their family.
Yeah.
Like, every 2 weeks, like, we really connect, and I've built so many amazing friendships out of it. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
And they just feel so much better about life and about themselves with, you know, these extra little things. It's not, you're not high maintenance. You know, there are tools that make you feel comfortable to take on other tasks. You know, if lashes are your security blanket, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the same way. I don't want to go out if they look bad upon my glasses. But with the whole neck thing, I would mask with the best hair. Like, I wouldn't wear my hair in a ponytail in public. Which, you know, now, like, I don't look like this at work. I still have a ponytail, and we're here to chill out. But I would not wear dangly earrings because the symmetry is not the same.
Wow.
Like, can you see that? Like it's not
well,
symmetrical.
Yeah, so if I never pointed that out, I would have never known.
But the mean people do, which is so weird. But
wow.
We just don't hang out with mean people anymore.
Yeah. How was that, like, with being, like, in just school with having this?
I think it was the worst for me probably through middle school, but I think middle school is the worst for every
I think
person.
so, too. Yeah.
But, you know, if they're uncomfortable with themselves, they project that onto other people. Mm-hmm. It's human. It was hurtful. But it was, I found this recently in the last couple of weeks with my daughters. Finally what the purpose of this was. Like, why me?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But one of my daughters, she had an athletic injury, and it really changed her life for like a whole year. And it was a lot of conversations that she was having with me that I would have with myself and with my parents. But she's like, why did this happen to me?
Oh.
And I just want to be like everyone else. And I'm having such a hard time making friends now. And I was like, this is why I have this. Because I get to be your mother and guide you through this. Mm-hmm. And you can feel seen and heard and understood. And it all came full circle for me just recently with her.
Oh my gosh, you're going to make me cry.
I know.
Oh, but it's a beautiful thing
to,
like, have that full circle moment and know that, like, okay, all of this wasn't just happening just to happen to me. It was all for a purpose and for a reason. And so now I'm able to see some of the good out of it.
Yeah.
And all of that.
And, like, they struggle so much with self-confidence.
Yeah.
And ironically, like, I don't know if ironically is the right word, but I get complimented on my confidence all the time. You know, women, men, like, your confidence is so attractive, your confidence is magnetic. And my girls struggle with that, and they're like, I just can't be like you, Mom. And it's like, well, look, every morning, my whole life, I've had to get up and look in the mirror and just know, you know what, I'm not like everyone else. Yeah. And I've had to make peace with that every day. And finally, it got to the point where, you know, that's okay. Yeah. I'm not. I'm really not. It does get in your head sometimes. Like, I'll analyze every picture. I'm probably going to pick this podcast apart.
Really?
And be like, oh, God, you can tell there, you can tell there. It looks so wrong there. But overall, like, getting over that hurdle and realizing, okay, well, this is what it is, and I've got to make the best of it. Because when I was little, they told my parents I would never walk, that they would be changing my diapers forever.
Are you
serious? They would be taking care of me forever.
So basically, your parents just thought you were just going to have, like, their child's just going to be, like, an invalid and not be able to do anything, and here you are.
And my life could not be more normal. I mean, I can't, I have limited mobility in my head, like that's as far as we turn. So usually, like, in conversations, I will position myself, like, with people that I'm not really comfortable with yet. Yeah. I want them on this side of me, because you can't see as much as versus on this side of me, you can see. Yeah. And, like, little steps like that in my day where I get out of that confidence and I start masking the things. But I do think this whole experience made me a more kind, compassionate, accepting, loving person. Yeah. And I was very fortunate growing up that, like, life was very good. My parents were successful with what they did. And outside of this, like, I got really lucky to not be ugly. So I could have been a really, really wretched bitch. But because people were really wretched to me, I know. I don't want to be treated that way. I won't treat somebody else that way.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So.
That's so good, though. Like, because, again, like, when you said this to me, I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm like, what? Like, I had no idea. Because you come across very confident and just very, like, secure in who you are. And I think that's probably why people are drawn to you and love your personality and love just who you are as a person in general, feel so comfortable with you to be able to talk about anything, to like basically say all of our secrets
in
your chair, wherever you're doing to our faces or bodies. And because I think that's just normally like just kind of what you exude as a person, which is awesome.
It's so funny too because like I do feel like at the shop or in any other professional settings that I step into a role, and so it's very easy to turn that on. Like in that shop, I know the answer to pretty much every question anybody's going to ask.
Right.
And your eyes are taped shut or you're naked, so I'm already more comfortable than you.
Right.
Like I'm winning here. But then out in the world, I'm very socially awkward. I'm very nervous around new people. Like, even, like, texting you today, I was like, oh, my God, what is the parking situation? Am I going to have to walk far? Should I bring other shoes?
Mm-hmm.
I can't parallel park.
How were when you got all this diagnosis and, like, when your parents were told, like, all these things you wouldn't be able to do because you had this, like, how did your parents handle it for you growing up and then, like, realizing, oh, wait, she can walk. Oh, wait, she can do X, Y, and Z. Like, why did the doctors say this to us?
It was still a very cautious thing. Like, no gymnastics, no roller coasters. They had to, and I don't think it's not negative when I'm saying they had to bring it up to, like, every teacher or blah, blah, blah. No, they were doing what they thought was best.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if she's sitting in the classroom, is she going to be able to turn to see things? Can she see the chalkboard correctly? Like, stuff like that. My parents, I think, handled this the best way possible, like, because I have always felt so loved and so accepted, and so they always told me whatever you want to do is if you work really hard, you can do it. You can do anything. This was not restrictive. This wasn't really talked of as a problem as far as my future and what I could accomplish in the world. And I wasn't treated any differently. My very high expectations, very high standards of being a good human, doing well in school, being kind to others. I couldn't ask for a better situation with that.
That's awesome.
And just a very loving, supportive. I think that they worry more about the situation than I do, even though it's happening to me.
Right.
But
well, that's what parents do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How are your children with you? Like, do they see you any different, or do they have questions or anything like that?
They will bring it up on occasion because, like, sometimes, like, their friends will ask, like, a question about it.
Okay.
But they're like, Mom, like, I just don't even see that.
Right.
But this is their norm. Like, this is how they've seen their mother their whole lives. So I am.
They don't know any better. Yeah.
Mom. Like that's just what my mom looks like.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because then it's probably for them, like, on the other side with, like, their friends. If their friends say something, they're probably just like, what are you talking about? Because it's so normal for them, you know? But I know, like, what happened? It was, like, maybe a year ago when you had that, like, random thing that happened at work. That was in April.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that, because that was a little crazy what happened to you.
I'm really tired of having something to talk about. It's just, I don't
Tiffany has a lot to talk about. This is only, like, one little piece.
I was having lunch with my daughter, like, midday. All of a sudden, I started seeing, like, it was like this rainbowy, chevron-y thing in my field of vision over here. And, we're at Penn Station, we're eating a sandwich, and I'm just like, well, that's weird, but okay. As it goes on, like, it's not getting better, and my head starts to hurt. And so I text my dad and my sister, like, hey, I feel fine, I have a headache, but it's all good.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, we should get out of here, we should get back to work. I had one more spray tan, and then if things got worse, we'd go to the hospital. But I wasn't that concerned, I took some ibuprofen when I got in the car. We get to work, and I really wanted to spray tan this girl because she was going to her first formal, and her mom was out of town, and she was so worried about this going well for her. I go in there, all of a sudden there's black spots in my vision. I can't see her to tan her.
Oh my gosh.
And I come out the door and I'm like, Maddie, you got to tan her. As my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
And, she's tanned me, like, for fun.
Yeah.
when I need help because I can't spray my own back.
Yeah.
But I sit down and it's just like a wave, like, went over my whole head. It hurt. This is the worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
Uh-huh.
And then to not be able to see. Like I couldn't see. It was insane. So we went to the ER, and they treated it like a stroke, as I wasn't able to see. There was another, I don't know why they got me back really quick.
Okay.
And they were treating it like a stroke. It was not a stroke. My blood pressure was very high. We did a CAT scan. Eventually, like a week later, we did an MRI too. And what they found was I was having a migraine attack.
Okay.
But because of the migraine, they were able to see I have an aneurysm. And they're unrelated, which I still don't believe that, but that's what they're saying. They're unrelated. We found the aneurysm as a happy accident because of the migraine attack. So it's in your left, I can't ever say it right if it's vertebral or vertebral artery.
Okay.
So you have two arteries going up the side of your neck.
Uh-huh.
So the left one. So right under that occipital bone, like right where your skull stops and your neck begins.
Uh-huh.
That's where that artery is feeding up. And for months, I had this neck pain right here, and I just figured it's for my job because, I'm hunched over people doing their lashes for hours and hours. No, it's a saccular aneurysm. So what that means is, like, imagine, like, your artery has, like, a pregnant belly coming off of it.
Uh-huh.
Like a sac.
Okay.
So it's gotten weaker right there. So if it were to rupture, that would be bad. I would probably have a stroke if that were to rupture. Right now, they're monitoring the size. Every 6 months, we get an MRI just to make sure it's not getting bigger. Yeah, it didn't rupture.
Okay.
So it exists. I have to take an aspirin every day so we don't get a blood clot in there. Watching, like, my blood pressure, my stress levels. I'm a workaholic.
Yes, you are.
I have 4 daughters, and I have the inability to ask for help 99% of the time. So I've had to say no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Swallow my pride and say I need help. With my co-parenting situations, I've had to be like, what, it's your time to shine. Yes, you can do all that. No, I don't have anything to prove. I can't go to everything.
Right.
It's stressing me out to go to everything.
Right.
I just can't anymore. After that whole incident, there was a lot of, like, they call them, like, vasospasms, but it was residual, like, pain and, like, throbbing for about a week. And then I went to a surgeon and a neurologist, and we're just kind of, like, holding tight. Like, we're very lucky it's not in my brain. Like, it's below it. Like, this could be the story of my life. This could be so much worse.
I know.
But life will go on. We just monitor the size. If it were to rupture, we could have a stroke. But anybody could have a stroke too.
Yeah, that's true. So they're saying it wasn't related to the migraine, and is not related to what you have as well.
They don't want to, like, go in and work on it by any means because they're not really sure of the plan of attack. They took my case to a medical board and they decided, let's just monitor. Like, if it's just going to stay like this, we'll be fine.
What's the point of?
And ironically, the year prior, around the same time, I was in the ER from exhaustion.
Yes, I remember that too.
So I had a CAT scan then. It wasn't there. So this happened within a year. Like, something we knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's so wild. And knowing that, like, you have this thing.
So it is a little nerve-wracking, like, every headache randomly. I'm like, well, is this it?
Yeah.
Like, it does make you a little nervous. But
at least now, like, you know what the signs are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because of what you had experienced before. Now you know, like, okay, if this is going to be a regular headache or if it's something a little bit more serious from there.
Yeah, just, a normal headache and you push through life. Like, now I'm just like, you know what? Let's cancel the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And let's chill out, Tiffany.
Right.
My dad, I'd say a couple of days after that whole incident, came over to my house and he's like, I need to talk to you. I need you to take 2 days off a week. You have to.
He really said that.
Yes. So we do. Well, I didn't yesterday. It's fine.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so true what you say, like, you have this thing that could possibly happen at any given moment, but we all have things that could happen to us at any given moment, so we all just never know.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can look at it in one retrospect, like, I have this thing and everything could be gone tomorrow, or everybody's living the same exact way, and it's like the same thing. It's
it
just
definitely
like
changed
how you start to look at
my
stuff.
perspective on so much.
Yeah.
Like I feel like life got so much more simple for me, and so many things that I was stressing, they weren't important in that moment. I was facing, like, between the ER visit and the neurosurgeon visit, am I gonna die?
Yeah.
Like, I'm in like a week and a half. Is this it?
Right.
Like, what is happening? And at the same time, like, facing your mortality, I was like, God, maybe I need to sell a business. Maybe I need to just go on a trip and enjoy my kids. Like, I was kind of freaking out, but still, like, having to maintain and do all the things in daily life and not show my children how freaked out I am. And it changed the way I wanted to be treated in relationships, the way I viewed friendships, the way some things, like, not everybody's your friend that you thought was.
Yeah.
And I'm just let go of the unnecessary and just focus on what's real and what's true. And I've noticed that all the really authentic friends in my life are the ones where I was never nervous about them knowing about the neck thing. Like, like I met them authentically. I wasn't posing or, pretending or hiding or masking. And those are the people that showed up for me so hard. And life just got so simple.
Yeah.
I even thought over the weekend, I have never really thought about the color changing on the leaves. Like, I really didn't. I have been so consumed with, hustle culture, having to do this, having to do that, trying to survive, make the money, pay the bills, get the kids places.
We were just talking about this.
And then now, like, I was driving in my neighborhood, and I've lived in this neighborhood for 4 years. I never noticed that these trees turn red, and it's such a pretty red.
Wow.
Like, I didn't.
So it's like you're stopping, making yourself aware of the, like,
and all
present.
The synchronicities around, like, the angel numbers, or even, like, a certain word I'll hear in a day that I haven't heard. And then I hear it, like, 3 more times in unrelated situations.
That's
it
crazy.
Really opened my eyes to a lot.
Yeah. I was just having this conversation with Will just about, like, my life. I'm in a big transition myself. And so, like, I was telling him, like, I don't know if I feel lost or if I just feel, like, all out of sorts because, like, I'm changing my schedule. I'm changing my focus. I'm in this really weird middle stage, and I don't know where I'm landing. But, like, it's making me freak out, but I'm not freaked out. And it's, like, it's making me feel all the things, And I think it does have to do with the fact that, like, you and I are both similar in the fact that we have pushed ourselves so much in our businesses. And we go, and we keep going because we need that money and we need to make it and all these things. And then, life slaps you in the face. And then you start to realize, like, okay, wait, no, I need peace. I need all these other things. I don't need X, Y, and Z. I much rather do all of these other things versus what I was chasing before. And sometimes it just like hits us right in the middle of it. And then you're just like, oh crap. Wow, that's what I was doing the last few years? Like what? Like it's being nice. Like I never saw that leaf change color,
Yeah. It's nice to not be on this train. Like, you feel like you just have to get to the next level and keep building, keep growing, keep building, keep growing. And now I'm just like, I don't want my business to get bigger. I'm happy that I'm helping the other women build their businesses, but I have enough clients to sustain my life just the way it is and be calm, peaceful, and healthy. And time for my children. Like, I'm done with the massive expansion moments, and I want to expand in my heart and experience life instead of trying to work so hard and never live.
Right. Yeah, because you want to be able to experience and live life and not be constantly in this, like, rat race that we're always trying to do. That's awesome. You mentioned, like, this whole thing has really shifted your perspective in relationships. And so I know you and I have had lots of conversations about relationships and dating and all of that. And I know both you and I have had lots of journeys in that area of life.
My lashes have had lots of journeys through your relationships.
I have said this before. There has been times when I have texted this girl and I've been like, I am so sorry. This man did X, Y, and Z to me and I have no lashes. Or I cried all night. Or I was fine and then this happened and then I woke up with no lashes. Like, all the things. So they've seen a lot of it.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of your lashes. Not on your face.
Not on my face. Hopefully, though, I have a good one now. So hopefully there won't be any tears at the moment.
I hope to.
We'll see. But with this situation, and I think it just, like, in general, with everything that you have gone through, like, I personally know, like, now it seems to me like you have kind of honed in on some of those, like, boundaries with when it comes to relationships or, what you're looking for. And not even just saying dating, but just in friendships.
And boundaries,
all of that stuff.
Like, I never prioritized rest or my own comfort. And now that's a huge boundary for me is rest. Like, I am in my bed at like 9.
Yeah.
I used to be a burn the candle at both ends. There's not enough hours in the day. And I would be on the phone till like 2 in the morning sometimes. Nope, I'm in my bed at 9. I got the best mattress in the world. I've got some pretty lights that calm me down.
I remember you saying that, like, your bedroom is like your favorite
made
space.
This wall with all these flowers, and it just makes me feel good to wake up and look at that wall.
Yeah.
But prioritizing my own rest is also a hindrance to going out and meeting people or being available to people, because by the time I've done everything with work and the children, I have to do the time for me, and so that doesn't always leave time for someone else.
Yeah.
But it is what it is for me now, and I think the right person will appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I do respect myself. I am worth the time and attention myself as well.
Yeah. No, that's really good, because you definitely, I think, especially now, we can get torn in like so many different directions, and then next thing you know, we're dating the wrong people. So we don't want any of that to happen again, right?
Yes.
How with everything, like, have your children noticed like the changes in terms of like how you're prioritizing different things versus like your business and your life? Like, how are they responding to you with that, all of that?
One of my twins said that she likes how unbothered I am. Like, I used to really get upset about little things, and I'm just like, whatever.
I feel like that comes with age, though,
She's
too.
Like, you're really not mad. Like, she lost a book, and she was so nervous about having to replace this book, or for mom to have to buy the new book, or for dad to have to buy the new book. And I'm just like, are you okay? Cool. It's just a book. Life will go on.
It's not a big deal.
Just little things like that. Like, just calm.
Yeah. That's good. Like, not having to make
They have enough stuff to be freaked out about. They don't need me freaked out, too.
You don't need to, like, add to it.
Yeah.
So let's turn a little focus, because I want to talk a little bit about your studio and everything that you have. So did I hear this correctly? Like, you started tanning first, so that was like your thing, and then you went into the aesthetics part.
Yeah.
And so I know, like, the basis of it was obviously you're, having these conversations with these women and making them feel beautiful. Like, what after I'm just so, sometimes I'm just so fascinated on, especially you doing work like lash artistry, because to me it's very what's the word I want to say? Like, you have to be very focused, and it's definitely an art for what you're doing to each individual and each person. Like, how did you come to like it, to be able to do it a lot?
I actually hated it at first.
You did?
Oh, I absolutely hated it. And I would have so much anxiety when I had a lash client on my books. I learned it because I knew it was going to be lucrative. There was only like 2 people in the area at the time that were doing it. This was like 13 years ago.
Okay.
And I would, practice on people. Finally, I felt good enough to charge money, and I was doing it, and I look back at those before and afters, and I can't believe these people paid money for that. They're so bad. But everybody starts somewhere. So then I unexpectedly was expecting, and this was 2016, and my body could no longer do these 20 to 30 people marathons of spray tanning, because you're basically doing squats.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you do for your job. Yeah. You're in shape. I'm not. My ligaments and my joints and stuff were not pleased with doing that. And also, like, getting dehydrated. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to be sitting more. I'm going to push the marketing on the lashes. And the repetition of doing it and then seeing those people so often, like, it all just started to fall in place, and I learned to love it. And it wasn't boring. I thought it was going to be boring, but it's not, because everybody's eyes are different.
Yeah.
Their styles are different. Their conversations are different. I look forward to, like, I'm like, oh, yay, this girl. I'm so excited to talk to her. One of my favorite clients, I actually recruited to work at the shop, Jody. She started as a client.
Really? And I had no idea.
I loved her in my chair. Like, we had the best conversations.
Jody is awesome. I love her.
And then she let it slip one day that she was an esthetician, and I was like, what? Well, I'm expanding, and we're moving locations, and I want you. You have to do this. And, like, that was 2018.
Oh, like, my gosh.
Yeah, like, it's just so cool. But lashing is it's tedious, but it's not, because... So I have ADHD, and you would think, how the heck can you sit there and put one hair on one hair for hours?
That's what I was wondering, too.
Because it's so rewarding, and you get the instant gratification of seeing that end result, you can hyper-focus in.
Okay.
And you can just really get at it. Facials, don't like that.
Okay.
I love and I have a lot of knowledge for skincare, but that was not that instant gratification, that reward system, because it takes, series to really start to make some progress on somebody's skin.
Sure.
But with the lashes, it's like playing beauty shop every day.
Yeah.
But instead of hair, it's these hairs.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you, I don't know any of this about, like, this type of industry, but there's obviously, like, lots of places around the south side of Indianapolis, like, how is everybody? Is everybody respectful with other business owners? Are you guys friends? I mean, is there, like, any, like, conflict with anyone or anything like that?
I feel like it's come a long way than when I started. Like in 2011, there were lots of catty women.
Okay.
And it was very dog-eat-dog, very competitive. I've had people that would put fake appointments on my books to block me out because, I have that online scheduling.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm.
Who would do that?
Yeah.
Like, are you that bored with your life that you would straight up put fake appointments on somebody's books?
I've had my signs slashed.
Stop.
Mm-hmm. But now I don't see, I feel like there's been a shift in the way we all view each other. I think maybe after quarantine, everybody came together a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people in this world that want these services, and you call your tribe. It's not a competition.
Right.
Like, a certain person will vibe with me and want me to do their service, whereas, somebody else might want the chick down the street to do it. And we call the kind of client that we want to work on. Even in my own shop, like I have 4 other lash techs.
Yeah.
We bounce clients back and forth, and sometimes somebody that I've been working on sticks with one of the other girls. But that's so great because they're vibing. They're still under my roof. I'm happy about that. I'm happy they're getting the service. But they're vibing better with her, and that's fine, and I love that. I don't really personally face the cattiness anymore, and I feel like I've also, like, when people locally in the industry will hit me up and ask me questions, I've openly give advice and don't gatekeep.
Interesting. As if, like, they're the gatekeeper of the information. You're like, I can
like, here, I'll tell you what you want to know.
Yeah.
And you're going to do with it what you want. I've had a lot of people try to do the spray tanning gig, and I've given advice and stuff, and some fizzle out, and some people are really great at it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you. There's so many people that want these services,
Right.
Think about how many hairstylists there are. Just
That's
in
true.
Greenwood.
Yeah.
It's so saturated, but they have their own clientele, they're doing it.
That's true. I mean, because before I went to you, I did try out a couple different lash places, and I was just, like, not about it. I just didn't mesh well with people, or I didn't like the end result, or I would say I want something different, and then I would get something else, or they had these really crazy rules, and I was just like...
Yeah. If I could give, the biggest advice to anybody is everybody wants to be heard. And if your client can just sit there and you be a good listener to them, you have a client for life. Like, everybody wants to be listened to. And put less of yourself into it.
Yeah.
That I don't know if you would call that a bedside manner in this business, but
I think you do. You need
once
to
you start to get to know them, you can interject stuff about yourself. But like, you know a lot about me, but you didn't know a lot about me.
I know. That's why I was like, how do I not know this about you?
It's about you. I'm there for you to unload on me or tell me a funny story, or for you to snore and twitch.
I snore and twitch in the chair.
But, yeah. So I mean, just being a good listener is, I guess, the best advice ever. My dad told me that in his business. We grew up he owned a family entertainment center, and when he would have to deal with, like, people complaining, he said, just let them say what they have to say. Everybody wants to hear it. And then ask them, well, how can I fix this for you? And they'll tell you something crazy, and then you're like, well, I can't do that, but I can do this. But they feel good about your solution because you listened to them and you cared.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to know, have you ever, I don't know if you can share, but I would love to know, like, what was probably your worst client ever? Like, what happened? I want the bochincha side. That's the gossip side of me being like, what happened to this person?
I've been really lucky that I haven't had anything terrible.
Nothing horrible has happened.
I've had somebody pee in the spray tan room because it was cold and it startled them and they peed.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And I kind of had to pretend it didn't happen, and then they were like, oh, and I said, don't worry about it, it happens all the time. And that was that.
Wait, okay, hold on. I'm trying to put myself in the...
Yeah.
But
I mean...
There's, like, you're naked and you're walking, and it's cold, but what...
I don't know, but, I mean, that was new and different.
Okay. All right.
I have fired clients when I get too many, like... When you book with me, you're booking out, like, an hour or so of my time, so it was, like, $100.
Yeah.
But when they no-show on me, like, I just got a $100 pay cut for the week, thanks.
Right.
And when so many of those would stack up, I just made myself unavailable to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've talked with them, I tried to get a credit card up front on booking, and then that was just it.
Yeah.
But, I've had some crazy, crazy stories. I would love to write a book. I would call it the Spray Tan Confessional.
Because that's what I was saying.
They get, like, nervous chatter when they're naked.
The things that when I've heard in her place, I'm literally like, what in the world? Oh, can you do the little thingy? The little puzzle thing.
I just don't want to out anybody's secrets.
Anybody's secrets.
Yeah,
okay.
Until I retire. I know what a lot of women would do in Greenwood for a Klondike bar. We'll just leave it there. It's fine.
You should be like, if they ever do like, we always joke, me and my friends always joke that like when I was married, I looked like I was on the Real Housewives of like Center Grove or Greenwood. Like, you should be like something like that.
Yes.
Women would be like, Tiffany, don't you dare talk about any of my secrets.
Yeah, I can't.
I was trying to get something out.
I know.
I know that the peen. That's
the patient client confidentiality.
Oh yes, we can't talk about that.
We talked about like like having like a reality TV show, podcast kind of thing. But I think that if we had cameras around, like people would not be themselves, and because they come in there to escape.
That's true.
And they share so much. Some days get really heavy, and they're talking about loss. Like, the death of a loved one, and we're all sitting there crying with them, or like a breast cancer diagnosis, and watching them go through that journey. We've had a few clients that have gone through that journey and come out on the other side. Mm-hmm. It's kind of beautiful that we get to witness that.
Yeah.
But and then there's so many days that are really uplifting and fun and not heavy.
Yeah.
And sharing joy, like they got a promotion, they're getting married, they're expecting, or their fertility journey, that it's working out.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be a part of that. And then having done it for like 13 years, I've been on a journey with people sometimes from high school graduation senior pictures to engagement photos to the wedding.
That's so crazy. So like you've seen them at every like
photos to family vacations,
in their life.
Even like bring my husband in so that his farmer's tan doesn't look crazy when we're on the beach. It's just such a gift, and I'm so glad I found this. Like I found doing this just on accident. This wasn't my plan. Like
what was your plan?
Well, my dad owned a whole bunch of family fun centers growing up, and then my ex-husband and I managed one of them in Whiteland for 10 years. And then we branched off and opened our own family fun center, Bounce Spot.
I did not know that either.
You remember in Greenwood, like it's Harbor Freight now.
Well, I'm not from here, so I don't even think I would even know. Like
inflatable, fun, jumpy thing.
I didn't know this either.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And I needed that to fail because I was pretty big in my britches. Like, I thought I knew everything about everything, and I did not. Opening that business, it really opened my eyes to a lot about my relationship between he and I, and we learned that we don't work together anymore.
Yeah.
Financially, we made some poor choices in that business, and I was really sad one day. That's the day I went and got a tan. Mm-hmm. And I started doing spray tanning on the side while we had Bounce Spot. And then we were just like, we have to stop. Like, we couldn't, it was pay our mortgage or pay our staff.
Yeah.
So we ended up walking away from the business. We signed over all the assets to the landlord, and we managed it for a little bit for him and then moved on to do other things. But yeah, I thought my whole life I was going to be in the family entertainment industry and be like the badass that my dad was.
Right.
But through that, I read this book called 48 Days to the Work You Love. It really runs you through kind of some exercises on getting down to the nitty-gritty of what you actually are passionate about.
Okay.
And even down to like going back to your freshman year, you're counseling high school, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, Tiffany wanted to be in the beauty industry and a Broadway star.
Hey.
So, and my parents were like, no, you're a lawyer. Lawyer. But come to find out when I got nitty-gritty about that, I was like, how can I monetize this? Because I do have an interest in this. And when I got the spray tan, my gears started turning. I have the sickness that I think I can do anything and run a business out of anything. Like, my girls are crocheting. I'm like, okay, well, we could sell this. You could sell this blanket for this price. And they're like, Mom, I want a hobby.
I just want a hobby.
My hobby is work. But where was I at? So the book. So I got, I want to be in the beauty industry. How can I monetize it? Well, while I was spray tanning, going to aesthetic school, I was also a karaoke DJ. So I was getting paid to sing like I wanted to my freshman year, just not on Broadway.
Right.
And Southside bars. I was a karaoke DJ. And spray tanning and going to school for aesthetics. And then I dropped that off because can't karaoke forever.
Right.
Only for fun now. But it is interesting if you get outside of like what you think you're supposed to be doing, or we have a skill set, we know what we can do, and we know we have the ability to do it, but it isn't what you're passionate about. Like, I was really good at what I did for my dad, like really good.
Yeah, there is a difference though when you have a passion for something versus when you don't.
Becoming a mother changed my passion.
Yeah, you're to be capable of it.
In that industry, you work when everybody plays. So there wasn't a like growing up, but it was our normal, like summer break, we worked. Spring break, we worked. Yeah. Christmas break, we were busy. Like, we would take vacations in the off season. He would pull us out of school because we had to be there to run the business.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I knew how to do that. I knew how to do it well, but it didn't allow the time to be a mom, to be present, like missing birthday parties, missing sleepovers, missing everything.
Yeah.
And this has created a different kind of freedom.
That's nice. What do you have, any advice in terms of people, because obviously you've been an entrepreneur for such a long time and you've done several different types of businesses. What's your advice to those either just getting started, but specifically like in the beauty industry, like where to start, maybe some mistakes that you made or that you could tell somebody like, look, do this, don't do this. Like, what would be your advice on that end?
Start in a commission situation or a way that you're not paying rent. Because you can't go out with 0 clients fresh out of school into a booth rent situation unless you aren't having to provide for your family. Like, if you, like, when I started, I was still married. I had a dual income household.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, my money was fun money for us.
Right.
So, but I started out on a commission situation. And then moved up to like, okay, well, I can give you this much a week. So we capped the commission, and it was this much a week until I was able to do full booth rent.
Yeah.
I think that helped a lot. And also, being in the dual income household, it wasn't stressing me out to not get enough clients.
Right.
And it also allowed me the freedom to go out and meet clients. But I would definitely be yourself, create like a client avatar, like figure out who it is that you want to work on.
Yeah.
So that you can direct your marketing towards that. Because, like, I know certain personality types that I really don't want in my chair.
Right.
And it's just not going to vibe with me.
Well, yeah.
So I try to represent myself and my business in a way that will draw the kind of people that I want to work on, too. Because I don't want a room full of people that aren't on, a chill, casual, like, if you want a really stuffy North Side experience, I'm not it for you.
Yeah.
I'm casual. Like, some days I come in a ponytail and sweats.
Yeah.
And I like that. But yeah, creating the client avatar so you really know who it is that you want to work on. And then just calculating if you need this much a month, okay, well then that's how many clients a week, how many clients a day. Because I didn't do all of that before. I was just like, I'm going to do this. And no financial plan whatsoever. Yay, somebody paid me. I need Chick-fil-A. But if you can figure out like how many clients you need per day to figure out what you need per month, that would be step number one, I think. But
just being a little bit smart about it.
Such a novice on the financial and administrative functions. I'm more into the creative, and if it's not your strong suit, farm that out.
Seriously, you and I are the same on that.
It.
Like I am very much like creative artistry. Like I'm up in the clouds, and people have to like pull me down to reality sometimes. And I always say like, I just don't like being an adult.
I don't either.
I don't adult well. Like I'm awful. I don't even like checking my mail.
Well,
I don't even want to answer my phone.
You never have to check it now because it sends it to you in an email and a picture. So you can just go through your email and you're like, I don't need to go that could stay in there.
I need to do that. I haven't done that. Yeah. I need to. It'll be like 2-3 weeks, and then sometimes people will be like, "Did you say you need to go to the mail?" And I was like, "I don't think anything's important in there." Yeah. I'm just the worst. Like I just don't. I just want to create. It's so bad.
No, I get it. And I do think we're hard on ourselves as far as like the standard of what an adult is.
Right.
Like, we weren't put here to suffer and do all this monotonous crap all the time. Like, why not make money, have fun doing it, be a good mom? The dishes can wait, the laundry can wait.
Exactly.
Or get somebody to do it for you, because your time is better spent with your family or building your business.
Yeah. What do you have to say to people who are dealing with a chronic health situation?
Talk to a therapist and really work through how you feel about it, so that you don't end up hitting a wall emotionally. Because I have hit a wall emotionally. Like, after the aneurysm, 2 months later, we had anaphylactic shock. So I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh,
are you
I
kidding
forgot
me?
about that.
So
you
now
literally went in like full blown anaphylactic shock.
So I'm like, you know what?
See,
I gotta
her
talk to
life,
somebody.
like
I gotta talk to somebody. It's all been like in a year. Like, I'm really done with the character building. 2025 can come. I'm good. I learned all the lessons. I got it.
I heard you loud and clear. You don't have to give me any more. I'm good.
Yeah.
So number one, seek a therapist.
Yeah, and follow the directions. I am the worst. If you have to take a medicine every day, make it in people with ADHD, and I can't take the ADHD meds anymore because of the aneurysm, because it's a stimulant that will raise my blood pressure.
Oh
so
my gosh! So now you've got to like circumvent all of that
and people
stuff.
think I'm so weird that I have to have these certain systems, certain ways I do things, but this is how I know I'll be successful.
Okay.
Like, I know if every day this little medicine bottle is next to where I make my coffee, I will take it. Or I pretty much need to do the same thing every day, or I get derailed. Like, if something comes up with the twins or with Maddie or with Gia and I get off of my routine, I didn't go make that coffee. So then medicine never happened for me.
Okay.
Weird things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why I can be successful at work, because I can go do the same thing every day. It's when I get derailed.
When everything kind of
go
goes
bad,
out the window.
Yeah, follow their directions, take the medicines, because when you don't, it hurts. Like I went to an event and I had like a couple of glasses of wine. The whole next day, pain, headache, neck pain. My body was inflamed, so that aneurysm presses up against those nerves in the neck. I'm in pain. Like,
wow.
Tiffany, just do what you're supposed to do.
Right. Well, I mean, it's so much easier said than
directions.
done. Like, same thing. If we all did what we were supposed to do, none of us would, I think, maybe not have any issues. I don't know. Who knows? I do love the fact that how you said about the therapy and, like, having a therapist, because I agree. Like, with me, with my autoimmune disorder, there was a season where I was probably in the worst pain of my life. And I was so depressed, and then I had a string of panic attacks because of lots of other things or outside factors. And so I think if it wasn't for me seeking help and going to see somebody, like, I would be in a really, really bad place. So I love how, like you said, like, that's key, because you always have to check emotionally how you're doing with all those things, because it can completely derail your life once you have something that's chronic, and it completely changes your life. And you're trying to, like, get back on track, but you don't know how.
A big thing that has helped me so much, too, is just taking a moment of stillness every morning. I didn't do that before. It was the rat race, get the kids to school, get ready for work, go get the clients. No, I always make time in the morning, even if it's 10 minutes. I set a timer on my phone for 10 minutes where I just sit and I journal. And
that's good.
It really helps, because there's so much in here, and there's so many feelings about this, and I have to get them out.
That's awesome. I used to, I'm not very good at that right now, but I was doing that. I'm going to try. Will be my nice little
Setting
reminder.
the timer was huge, because then I can at least give 5 minutes to this, or I can at least give 10 minutes to this.
Yes.
And then, you did it, and you feel better about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. It was so good. I loved it. And I love, I just love how ever since I've met you, you've always been, like, super just real and authentic. You've made me always feel, like, very comfortable. And so that's why I just love Bronzz Beauty Studio, just because, like, I can come in and be a hot mess and be okay. Or I could text this girl when I have some weird reaction to my eyes and they're like, shut, because my eyes are so weird with my allergies. Or I can just be who I am, and it's great. And that's what I always look for, like, a business or with friends or relationships, is knowing that, like, I can completely solely be myself, and you don't have to, like, mask anything about that. So I love that. And I love your story.
That's our goal.
Yes, it is. We'll have more details on Bronzz Beauty Studio on the latest blog post for this episode. You'll find all the details at JohnetteCruz.com. So thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you guys next time.